As river cities go, the world is well acquainted with Vienna, but shore travel steered us downstream towards the Hungarian banks of the Danube, and what that country's most celebrated city brought to the once vast Austro-Hungarian Empire.
With over 20 million visitors gracing these riverbanks every year, Budapest is known as the Pearl of the Danube, or sometimes even the Paris of the East. With over 700 years of history as the capital city, this certainly is the place to be if you're hungry for life.
Beginning with the Celtic settlers, the seat of trade and power has been wrestled over by everyone from the Romans and Mongols to the Turks, Austrians and Soviets.
Shoshana, how did Budapest become the capital city?
Well, Budapest has been the capital city of Hungary since the 13th century because of the location actually. On one side of the river you get a completely hilly area, and that's the Buda side, and it was easier to defend. So over the higher hills they built a strong fortresses surrounded with walls, and this is what protected the city over 700 years until the end of the 19th century. The Pest part being completely flat but could not develop until the basically beginning of the 19th century, when they broke down the city walls and the parliament building, the opera house, most of the big public buildings were built on the Pest side. So at the end of the 19th century the two parts under the name Budapest were united into the capital city of Hungary.
Today these embankments are a World Heritage Site, yet it's the locals who are really Budapest's greatest asset. Rising against a regime imposed by the Soviet Union, they faced tanks on these streets, and though suppressed for decades, became known as the happiest barrack in the Eastern Bloc. Their spirit of making good of a bad situation is embodied in their most famous communist-era car, the Trabant.
Quite a nice tight fit, so let's get this baby started.
It has a Duroplast framework made up of fibers like cotton and occasionally paper.
And where's the gears?
But it works.
So you have to put it in one.
And where's the petrol?
Yeah,
now for that 0 to 100 in 27 seconds.
Second gear?
Second gear up.
Clutch up.
Yes, that's number 2.
Woo!
Second gear. You're a good driver.
Actually, this is too stressful. I'm going to pull over. I think you drive. Woo!
Fantastic race.
Even 3 million of these couldn't meet the demand for what they dubbed the paper jag.
So the Trabant was a very popular car in Hungary.
The car was the best available car during the communist times. It was very cheap to buy. The only problem was that the waiting list was very long, so you had to wait up to 3-5 years until you could get a Trabant.
Top speed on this baby?
Maximum speed is 110 kilometers per hour, but it's a 2-stroke engine with about 26 horsepower, so you need to drive downhill.
How much did a Trabant actually cost?
Well, it was a very cheap car, so you could buy it for approximately $300 on today's value, and immediately after you drove to the first petrol station, it doubled its value.
Because you filled it up?
Yes.
Great investment.
Another investment on a rather grander scale was the Central Market Hall, opened at the close of the 19th century. Often referred to as a symphony in iron, the ornate market even had a canal down the aisle, which allowed barges to deliver goods from across the country. Among the best known are the ingredients of a dish which any self-respecting Hungarian chef must be able to cook with his eyes closed.
Hey Joanne, nice to meet you.
Meet you too. Goulash is a very popular dish here in Hungary.
But it's not a goulash, it's a guyash.
Ah, goulash. Where does the name actually come from?
It's a profession, there's a cowboy basically, and they cook this soup. Fresh vegetables, garlic, mountains of onions. Don't forget, Hungarian paprika.
Andrew, if I wasn't feeling hungry before, I'm feeling hungry now.
Then it's possible to prepare the nice pancake, a palacsinta in Hungary.
A faultless pancake is a rite of passage for resident cooks.
Always with the left the pan.
Oh, the left pan.
Yeah. With the right the dog, you got quick. No, it's too much.
So much?
Yeah. In. Turn. Lovely.
So how long do you leave this now?
About 1.5 minutes.
Of course, using a spatula to flip your pancake would get you thrown out. The only way is to give it air.
3.
Yay! How perfect? I think I qualified to work in your kitchen right now.
Best of the day.
The best of the day, huh?
On a pancake-flipping summer's day, it's hard to believe it snows here. But that's when goulash comes into its own. Another major cuisine and character of Budapest comes from the city's large Jewish population. On the banks of the Danube, we came across a touching memorial to the estimated 100,000 Jewish citizens who died in the Holocaust. Completely unimposing, these empty pairs of shoes speak volumes to any visitors who chance upon them. Today, however, that Jewish community is thriving once more, and its legacy is as strong here as another of the city's cherished traditions.
The darlings of the Budapesti public transport system are these yellow trams, offering a cost-effective way to take in the priceless views.
Chief among these are the Rudash baths, where the Romans first took a dip millennia ago. And if the series of overlords who ruled here in between agreed on anything, it was that this aquatic treasure couldn't be beat. Throwing a spectacular light show on the waters was the work of the Ottoman architects who created Turkish baths, the envy of even Istanbul.
Christina, this is fantastic and a wonderful part of the Hungarian culture.
Yes, we can say almost. This building is 600 years old. It's a Turkish bath. Turks were here for 150 years, and they find this water is excellent for different problems to solve inside and outside, mentally, the digestion, and for the bones.
Far more to Joanne's taste were the wonderful Shechenyi baths, a grand open-air water world where they introduced a wave pool as early as the 1920s, and an effervescent bath, you can call it a jacuzzi, by the 1930s already. Open all year and to all ages, you can even take on a Hungarian grandmaster for a game of chess, whilst cooling off in the height of summer. Another favorite city haunt is the ground floor cafe of the New York Palace, built by an insurance company but made far more interesting by Budapest's brightest and wittiest.
I've heard there's an interesting legend surrounding this cafe.
The legend is that at the beginning of the 20th century, this cafe became the nest of the intellectual life, and the writers that loved the place so much, they stole the key to the cafe and they threw it into the Danube to make sure that nobody can actually ever close its door.
Well, if I had such great coffee and cake, I'd also never want the place to close.
Yeah, there are really traditional Hungarian cakes as well. That is, for example, the somlói cake, and that is the Eszterházy, and this would be the dobos.
If she took even a bite, Joanne risked missing the next part of her Danube River experience, where some choose a high-speed hydrofoil craft to whisk them to dry land in time for dinner. We'd been invited aboard the River Beatrice, only commissioned in March this year, but already the name in classic European river cruises.
This is such a spectacular ship.
We started sailing only in February, and we came all the way up from Amsterdam here down towards the Danube, because the Beatrice does pass out Budapest, and it is exquisite. Going into the front of the ship, we have the restaurant. The restaurant is open seating with breakfast, lunch and dinner, where the guests actually get together and start becoming friends. In the lounge, which is above the restaurant, it's our meeting place, and then we have all the activities like port talks and evening entertaining, and you can stay in a beautiful stateroom with all the amenities that you could wish in a five-star hotel on land. So that's the beautiful thing about it, because you have your favorite hotel with you, just traveling along the Danube.
What the Orient Express is to east-west train journeys, the Beatrice is fast becoming to north-south river cruises. The first order of business, a full-dress salute to one of the continent's finest ports of origin.
Budapest has recently been voted one of the most beautiful cities in Europe, and after I've experienced all the sights, sounds and tastes of this Hungarian capital, I can honestly agree it can satisfy even the most insatiable appetite for life.
Ahead lay enticing names like Vienna, Dürnstein, Malk and Passau, but they'd cruise those bridges when they came to them. Sure Travel puts you in the picture this week. Make memories that last a lifetime with holiday packages from Sure Travel. Details on the website and in Top Billing magazine.